Hello, everybody, and welcome back to A Few Beers and a Shot. This is Kyle.
This is Juan.
And welcome to episode 1 of our 5-part miniseries on conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And episode 1 is going to be on
UFOs and Area 51 stuff.
Yes. And the perfect beer to talk about conspiracy theories, UFOs, extraterrestrials, Area 51 is the Elysian Brewery Space Dust IPA.
Yes.
I think it fits pretty good.
Yeah.
A little bit about this beer. It is an IPA that has 8.2% alcohol.
Holy.
Yes, and then it says tasting notes. Space Dust balances bitterness with sweetness of hop flavors, grapefruit, mango, and orange aromas with a medium body and a dry finish.
I like how on the side of here it says, the hopping is pure Starglow energy with chin-cooked to bitter and late and dry additions of Citra and Amarillo.
There you go.
Amarillo for those of us who speak the Latino Mexican.
And it looks like a little bit other history on this brewery. This beer itself was first brewed in 2012. Is a one-off of their innovation brewery, Elysian Fields, and now it's one of their main beers that they have. So
Nice.
let's pop this bad boy open and see what it tastes like. Because I have never had it before, but I do love the logo.
Yeah.
It's basically a hop spitting out stardust or space dust.
Yes.
And it looks like the packaging is an inspiration from the original Pop Rocks candy packaging back in 1976.
The Pop Rocks?
Yes.
Here you go, sir.
So let's see. I'm going to have to smell this one first. Oh, yeah. That smells like an IPA for sure. And that cap just went into outer space.
Yes, it did. Hope it didn't hit a UFO or a flying saucer.
All right. Well, this is an 8.2.
Did you try it already?
No, I just looked at it. I'm
cheers,
like, all right,
man.
cheers. All right.
Ooh, that's strong.
Oh, yeah. That's real happy.
Yep.
That is definitely an IPA. But you know what, though? I don't mind it. That's one that I can have maybe one or two.
Yeah.
And then I'll be done. I'm feeling full just from that sip.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
But you know, after it sits for a minute, it's not as bitter as it was right off the bat.
No,
That first sip,
I think it's the smell.
yeah,
That's what satiates you.
yeah. That first sip was like,
Yeah.
and then it kind of just mellows out at the end. Decent beer, I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
But it's definitely a 1 or 2.
Well, it
kind of
depends
beer.
on if you want to get super fucked up or not. You know?
No, this would definitely be 1 or 2 for me because then I'd be done.
Yeah, definitely strong on the nose.
Yes, yeah, it definitely has
It's good though.
aroma. The aroma really hits you
Yes,
and takes you to space.
it knocks you out of this world.
Yes.
Are you done with your one-liners?
Yeah, I guess so for now.
Till another one comes to my head.
Yes.
You know,
Till another one-
from outer
I
space.
was gonna say, so another one enters the atmosphere.
Yes. Yeah. So do you want to start off talking about Area 51?
Well, we could start about Area 51. Sure. I'll start a little bit about it.
And we can roll off into the UFOs and sightings and whatnot. We talk about the types of encounters that we looked up online.
All right, so Area 51 is a highly classified Air Force facility. It is a remote detachment of Edwards Air Force Base. And it was also called Homey Airport or Groom Lake, which are areas that are on the property.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Area 51, at least when we were growing up, was always kind of one of those hush-hush.
It's like taboo.
Nobody ever really talked about it. There's intense secrecy surrounding the base and is made frequent subject of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
An essential component of unidentified flying object folklore, and has never been declared a secret base, but all the research and occurrences in Area 51 are top secret and sensitive compartmented information. So you have to have really high clearances to be able to even step foot in there and figure it out and see what's going on.
So, just really quick, while I was doing my part of the research, I told you I ran into that video about the guys who used to work there, and they I guess they wrote a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not them, but they were like, witnesses or whatever to it, and they told their story about what went on there, and then that's the thing I was telling you, that you run into a lot of stuff where they say like, oh yeah, that's bullshit. Like that one dude came out, I think he was on Rogan, and he said that he's like, yeah, all that stuff, that like they just said it. I don't know if they were paid or whatnot, but obviously, Area 51 is also divided into sections,
Mm-hmm.
so that could be. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was bullshit, but like they were talking about how like the saucer with the little people, it was like Russian pilots that were experimented on and all that stuff. Did you read about that?
No, I didn't see that.
It's in that video on YouTube. I saw it and I was like, what? So they're trying to like deny the existence of extraterrestrial life, essentially saying there was like, oh no, it was like a test aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
The saucer.
But then they just, what was it, last year they came out and said, yeah, UFOs are real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. This book looked like it was on like CBS or some shit like that, some news network, and like they were interviewing the writer and like the guys that were involved and telling their story of the book, and then you dig deeper, and then there's guys that kind of like really really study the stuff, the material, and they're like, they're just lying through their teeth, or they're just giving some over the top, some glazy story.
Yeah.
To kind of like, oh yeah, oh my god, that's all that was happening there all the time, and everybody's like conspiracy theories, and it's like, no, there's really some shady shit going on in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you look at like the photos and everything of the area, like it's very basic on the outside, like on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like, there's a salt flat like by this lake, and it's very small looking, like, so this has to be like one of the biggest like underground bases out there.
Yeah.
Like, because just if they were doing so much top secret stuff,
yeah,
like this aerial photo, it looks like it's like 4 blocks long.
Yeah.
Like, it's not look back, like the area itself that it covers is huge.
In the middle of a desert.
Yeah,
they
I mean,
go as deep and as long as they want.
Yeah. I mean, the base itself is what? Let's see, how long is it? It's pretty far. Like, it's, wow, it is actually pretty big. Oh, shit. The original area of it was 6 by 10 miles, and then it's like 23 by 25 miles. Like, it just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
So it's like a hive.
Yeah, and like right now, I don't have the exact number on it, but I mean, it looks like it could be the size of a small town.
Yeah.
And like the outside on the top, it only has like a couple like facilities and buildings where it's like only like 150 people could be there.
Yeah, there's a town close by too. It's only like 500 people. I think it's Rose something.
Oh, you talking about Roswell?
No, not Roswell. It's where they did the Storm Area 51 festival.
Oh yeah, that was here. Let me go to that. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah,
that was at,
because they were talking about how like all that whole thing, like
the location was, it says Lincoln County.
Okay.
Let's see where else. If we Naruto run, we can move faster than their bullets.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty funny.
This dude was mocking the guys that said that, because they were like, "There's rocks, brush, rattlesnakes. Good luck with that." Doing the Naruto run.
Yeah, that I don't. Yeah, don't.
And it's not even a Naruto run, man.
That's
been around since the 80s. Rachel, there you go. Yeah, Rachel. It's like 500 people or some shit.
A town of just 56 people.
Oh, 56?
Yes. Business owners in and around Rachel, Nevada, a town of just 56 people, just outside of the base.
Yeah.
They made preparations for the visitors who planned to go to Area 51.
Yeah, because they were expecting like 20,000 people.
Yeah, and they had 13 rooms at the local inn. That's pretty funny.
So lucky number 13.
So let's go back to a little bit more on some of the history of this place. So like the origins of it are unclear. Like it was a weird theory that like because on a map grid there was like Area 15, that they just changed it to 51 just to make it sound different. Like, and then it wasn't even acknowledged. Like the first time Area 51 was ever used was in a CIA document back from like the Vietnam War era.
Yeah.
And this is all because all these documents from the CIA got freedom. No, not leaked. It was just in 2013. There was a Freedom of Information Act filled out, and they requested all these declassified documents of Area 51 and all these other things from the CIA, and they gave it up.
What year was that? 2017.
The documents, the FOIA, was filed in 2005, and it was finally given in 2013.
And then didn't they just do something in like 2017 also? Like released more information about that sort of stuff?
Yeah, they release information more and more like every couple of years or so, because there's timelines on certain documents on when they can be declassified.
Yeah.
Like every presidential term, you can declassify documentation. Yeah. Just like one episode we'll get on later on in the series with the JFK assassination, which is another episode to come pretty soon. All those documents pertaining to that investigation was supposed to be declassified. I forgot how many years ago, but then they pushed it back because they want to make sure that everybody that was involved in that thing is dead. Yeah, before it gets released.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that the guy on Rogan was saying about like the documents that he read about what these other dudes were saying in that book was bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy he told me I could release that information after he dies. I was like, yeah, who cares after you're dead, right? So, well, it's like, what are they going to do to him? You know, he's dead. He's like, you can use that information any which way you want.
Mm-hmm. So, just diving a little bit more into Area 51 here. So, like, during, like, the Cold War era and everything, when we were, getting ready to fight Russia but not fight Russia, Area 51 was used to like learn and fly Russian MiG fighters, the fighter jets.
Yeah.
And study them and see their technology and everything else like that. And it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you. Like what they said was that what they actually did there when they declassified, and I'm doing air quotes at this time, was that they were using it to like study spycraft and develop all that sort of stuff to stay ahead in the arms race. That's what they were actually doing there. That's what they said they were doing. So they were like studying or developing like drones and all the stuff that we currently use now.
Yeah,
that's what they were doing at the time in Area 51, and that's when that topic about like the Russian spacecraft, well, not spacecraft, but the Russian aircraft with the little men.
Yep.
That were experimenting on. I forgot the doctor's name, but yeah, that's what they were talking about. Like they were saying, like, oh, this is what we did there. There was no UFOs, there was no aliens. Everybody can chill out about that. And it's like, really? Can we though?
Well, here, this is a couple things that they have the UFO and other conspiracy theories of Area 51 is the storage, examination, and reverse engineering of crashed alien spacecraft, including material supposedly recovered at Roswell, and the study of their occupants and manufacture of aircraft based on alien technology.
Yeah.
I like this one. Meetings or joint undertakings with extraterrestrials. Like that's where they want to meet. They want to meet in the middle of the desert in Area 51. The develop of exotic energy weapons for the Strategic Defense Initiative or other weapons programs.
Yeah, they tested A-bombs out there in the desert too, they said.
Yeah, and that's part of where they think that well, no, they did test.
Yeah.
When they were doing the atomic bombs back, like the Manhattan Project and all the other kind of stuff.
Was that in Area 51?
That was in the desert. But so that ties into, they think that when they were doing those tests and wind patterns and everything else, that's what created all the anomalies at Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh.
So that's a completely different thing. Like they talk about that in the documentary.
The Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah. And they talk about how there's a possibility that like radiation and like nuclear fallout type stuff, kind of the weather patterns brought it to where Skinwalker Ranch is, and that's kind of what gives off some of the weird vibes that are there. So,
but is Skinwalker Ranch out there?
It's in it's not too far from all this.
Oh, okay. I thought it was somewhere in the Midwest, like
Skinwalker Ranch. No, that's out. I think it's Utah.
Because well, there's Skinwalker stories all over the place.
But Skinwalker Ranch is a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
But
Isn't there's a show on the flicks, right?
yes.
I haven't watched it. Maybe we should do an episode about that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I watched most of it. I didn't watch the whole thing though.
It's like a miniseries too, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like what we're doing.
Yes, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It's
Yeah.
a television series on Netflix, and it is. I'm trying to see where it's at. Yeah, it's in Ballard, Utah. So.
How far is Roswell from Area 51?
Hang on, I'll look that up right now.
Because I mean, that was the first recorded landing, right, or visit or whatever.
Yeah, that was one. That was one that was well documented. So Roswell, New Mexico.
Well, New Mexico, Nevada,
To-
two different states. So right there, you're
Rachel, Nevada. So you're looking at between them, it's about a 14-hour drive.
so they're not close at all.
No, but like I guess according to the conspiracy theories, whatever crashed or whatever was seen in Roswell was transported to Area 51.
They were like, we don't want to meet out here. We want to go to Area 51.
Yeah, and then and then if you put in Ballard, Utah to Area 51,
It's got to be probably.
that's about an 8-hour.
That's close.
That's an 8-hour drive. So yeah.
So somewhere in that triangle, if you want to call it.
I mean it's a pretty wide triangle because Rachel is like here and Ballard is up here and Roswell's over here.
Yeah, it's a pretty big triangle.
Yeah.
So,
And there's always been a lot of, UFO, ET activity in, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. So I mean it's all in that
because
area.
it's all desolate territory.
Yeah. But yeah, there's still so many weird things. Like they feel like the weather control is at Area 51. Like that's where they control the weather.
Really?
Yes. Where they also have developed the time travel and teleportation technology. Exotic propulsion systems, which were related to the Aurora program, which we can look up that.
Okay.
Oh yes, and activity to the shadowy one world government of the Majestic 12. The Majestic 12 is another rabbit hole to go down. Like that's
What's
pretty
that, like
cool.
an Illuminati group?
Well, it's Majestic 12, where it was like it was a group of alleged secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials that was formed back in the 40s by Harry Truman. So it was like the highest clearance was Majestic clearance.
Yeah.
Where you have the ability to recover and investigate like alien spacecraft and stuff like that.
That's like some Nick Fury shit.
Yes. So there were supposed documents that were found in the 80s, and the FBI looked at them and they declared them to be bogus. But I mean, if you look at the track record of the FBI, can you really believe anything they say or do? Because I mean,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another day.
True. But yeah, the Majestic 12 is a big thing in the UFO conspiracy community as like kind of like the Bilderbergers, like the Bilderbergers of the UFO community.
Yeah.
Like it's all the top people, like elitists that know all this alien technology and information and stuff like that. And then I don't know the Aurora program, so I'm gonna look that up really quick.
Okay.
It was just in the mid 80s. It was it was a reconnaissance spacecraft that was, there was no evidence that it was ever built or flown, and I guess it was a myth, but I guess it was supposed to be built with like alien technology.
Well, it was. I think they also said like back in
It was SR-91. So
when they developed like the bombers, those stealth bombers,
mm-hmm.
they said that like when people saw those the UFOs, they actually saw the Unabombers.
Well, dude, yeah, when those first rolled out, and nobody could see them.
Well, you could see them.
No, but I'm talking about like on radar,
radar,
and you can't see them and everything else, and crazy stuff.
Yeah, but then nowadays you got documentation and videos where they're like, oh, this unidentified object rolled up on our radar. We
Mhm.
don't know what it is, who it is, and then it's like jumping all over the place.
Well, yeah, I mean that happens to the military all the time.
Yeah,
You know, they always get there was videos released
Like
last year
blips?
and 2 years ago
yeah,
where there was a military exercise going on and there's a UFO appears on their radar
mm-hmm.
and it's like I think they said it was like 3,500 feet above sea level, and then it moved to like speeds that are not capable of this planet straight down to like 100 feet above sea level
yeah.
in like a matter of seconds, and then shot back up to 3,500 feet. Like, it's all documented, and these guys were interviewed by Congress. They're like, yeah, we have no idea what this is, and they released the video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're finally being somewhat truthful that, this stuff is out there. Now, it's just a matter of, like,
Well, it's one of those things where it's like people are always going to question it.
oh,
you
yeah.
know?
But, I mean, I feel like here, do you think that, we're the only ones out there?
Of course not. That'd be I mean, oh man, you're getting into that's like okay, so do I believe we're the only ones in the universe? No.
Yes.
That'd be pretty arrogant to
Yeah.
say the least. The universe is a pretty big place. But then you touch on religion. People are like, "Oh no, God created us and that's it."
Well, I
And
mean,
it's like, nah. You
Yeah.
got to be super arrogant to believe that. Because, I mean, how did we start out? Like, you look at Darwinism, we started out as what, like tadpoles or whatever?
started out as like primordial, or we started out as single-celled organisms and then turned into multi-cellular,
Right.
and then we turned into like a fucking slug,
Yeah.
and then into like a fish, and then into something else, and
So,
something
okay.
else.
So, before we go into the alien stuff, we're actually the aliens of this planet because we arrived on the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs. Or that's the
Well, see,
that's one of the theories.
yes, that is one. But I mean, there's other theories that we can go down, but this has
Yeah.
nothing to do with what we're talking about
No,
right now.
No,
Because
okay.
I mean, dude, there's a
What I was trying to get to is okay, so evolution, right?
yes,
So you know how like there's the lizard people
Mhm.
that people talk about.
yes.
Do you think those are aliens, or do you think they're like a different branch of evolution?
Well, I mean, the
Well-
lizard. So the thing with the lizard people is a whole like
Well, that's the thing, though.
that's a secret group of elitists that control the world,
Right.
and they're human eating fucking lizard people that wear us as costumes.
But are they aliens, or are they a different branch of the evolution process?
Well, and that's part of it where you can get into. Yeah, could they be aliens? Could they be from, like, did you ever hear of Zeta Reticuli?
No.
All right, so Zeta
Break it down for us non-knowers.
Well, no, Zeta Reticuli is like a solar system or planet or a group of planets. It's a
Proxima
star. It's a star system, and it's like that was one of the places where like there's a what was it? There was an extraterrestrial encounter where this thing said that they were from Zeta Reticuli, and they came to Earth.
And that's a lizard person type?
No, it was just a person.
Oh.
It was just another alien. So, like, but the lizard people, I mean, I don't know,
I know I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. I'm just asking, what's your opinion? Are they aliens or
the reptilians,
yeah?
or reptoids, archons, reptilioids. Dude, I don't know. I mean,
It's hard to tell, right?
could they be the original inhabitants and we're the aliens?
Yeah.
And they put masks on
To blend with us.
blend in with us because they don't want to be, destroyed.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, then I think about it. It's like, well, if they're so elite and they're the ones who are running everything,
They could have just taken over.
why not just take off the masks and just fucking kill everybody, and then just control everybody and be like, I'm a fucking lizard person. I could be you if I wanted to, and like spit some acid or some shit at you.
Easy there, scroll.
Well, I'm just saying, like, well, and that's another thing. Like, it's just like scrolls, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Shapeshifters.
it's weird, man. Like, all these weird, like, there's so many things that I never even knew, like were conspiracy theories or existed. Like I had no idea about the Zeta Reticuli until about like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just like here the distance, it's like 39.16 light years away from Earth. So it'd take like a couple hundred years to get there. But yeah, dude, there's just it's crazy, like this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like you got the lizard people, then you have the whole like
little green men.
Yeah, you have little green men, and then the what are they called? What are they called? The gray the
dudes from Signs, the big ones.
Yeah, but there's a specific term for like they look like humans, but they're gray. I forgot the name of it. Hang on.
Man, I feel like I gotta put on my tinfoil hat.
It's not. Oh yeah, so here, the gray aliens, also referred to as Zeta Reticulans. They're supposed to be the ones that came from Zeta Reticuli.
And they're kind of like they have our.
They're gray humanoids with black eyes and oblong heads. Like those are the ones that are supposedly the ones that visited here, like at Roswell.
Yeah,
those were those.
Well, see, those are like. That's the thing. Like somebody who doesn't know is like, oh, I thought it was little green men.
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
So like here you have. Here I'll go to the list of. So you got the grays. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you got quite the list there.
Yeah, there is a list. Hang on.
Jesus.
So you got. Oh my God! Come on, computer. You have the Flatwoods monster, which is a tall humanoid with a spade-shaped head. Okay. You have the grays, also known as just grays. Those are gray-skinned humanoids, usually about 3.5 feet tall. Hairless with large heads, black almond-shaped eyes, nostrils without a nose, slits for mouths, no ears, 3 to 4 fingers, including a thumb.
Yeah, those are the ones most commonly associated as aliens.
Yes, and that's been since like the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have this thing called the Hopkinsville Goblin, which was small with greenish silver. It was small greenish silver humanoid. Little green men. We don't really need to go into any discussion other than they're little green men. Nordic aliens.
Nordic aliens?
Yes. So, sometimes called Space Brothers. Then there's other ones called
Space Bros.
Venusians, Tall Whites.
Venusians are what, Venus aliens?
Yeah. Agarthans, or from Agartha, and Plagiarans. They were humanoids with stereotypical Nordic features. So tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, and it featured in several cases of contact. It is said that they are from ancient Earth, but presenting themselves as ETs in the past. They moved from living on the surface to living underground in the Himalaya areas after a natural event. Then you got...
Might be confused with the gods of Olympus.
Yeah, and now you go into cryptids.
I thought you were going to say Kryptons.
No,
Kryptonians.
Cryptids like Mothman,
okay.
Jersey Devil, Loch Ness Monster, the Nomo, and a couple other things, like other ones I've never heard of before.
So are those just like unidentified beings, or are they considered aliens?
So
extraterrestrials.
Cryptids are kind of like in their own category.
Because what you mentioned is more like stuff of myth or legend.
Yeah, well, cryptids are more mythology, folklore type thing, or they could be what's left
of
ancient races that were here before us. You know, like Mothman could have been something that was there before, and it's only a few of them left.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with the Jersey Devil, Loch Ness Monster. So you got those. Then you got the reptilians or reptiloids, which were ancient astronauts, tall, scaly humanoids. They have dated back as far as ancient Egypt, and with the crocodile-headed river god Sobek. And the reptilian conspiracy theory has been advocated by this guy David Icke. So I mean, and like they have a list of reptilian humanoids, and then there's other things
like Queen
called
Elizabeth.
There's things called rods or skyfish. Elongated visual artifacts appearing in photos and video recordings, sometimes claimed to be extraterrestrial beings, generally thought to be caused by a motion blur from flying insects. So
makes sense.
no, this whole mythology on the list of reptilian humanoids is just a list of different, like, throughout mythology and history throughout the world, different beings called different things.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, that's another thing where you go back to, you know, thinking if there are aliens, you know, and extraterrestrial beings and everything, is that so many different cultures throughout the history of human existence have had these things documented in some way, shape, or form. You know, like, there was always the talk of mermaids. There was always the talk of, you know, beings like in Egypt, like the pharaohs and the gods with, you know, and then,
the
like,
dog
the Sphinx and all those. Like, all right, were those things, did they come here?
No.
You know, so I mean,
So
we've always had that. I guess extraterrestrials is the ultimate conspiracy theory throughout time, because you either believe it and people think you're a quack, or you don't believe it and you're a skeptic. And then if you see it, do you believe it?
Yeah.
You know?
So do you think aliens walk among us? Extraterrestrials, ETs?
I think so. I mean, I don't think we're the only thing in the universe.
Well, I'm not talking about the universe. I'm talking about...
but that's what I'm saying. Like, do I think they have been here? Yes. Do I think I think they're just here to, like, observe and report?
Well, it's been said that if aliens were here, they were investigating to come back and attack or take over. They're not going to be friendly.
I don't. No, because if it would have, if it happened back in, like, Roswell days.
Well, it doesn't mean it's going to happen in our life.
Well, I know, but it's just one of those things. It's like, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, somebody might know. Like, they could be like, yeah, shit, in 2130, shit's gonna get real. Yeah. But I'm gonna be dead, so I don't really give a fuck. Yeah. You know. So, but it's like, but then that's another thing, is that just, did an alien come here, or a group of aliens come here from somewhere else to want to either help us with something or prevent something from happening?
Yeah.
And our people who are in charge of everything are going to use that as a ploy to see how much more control they could take over us.
It's been played out in movies, which I know we don't want to dive into science fiction, but if you saw the Mothman prophecies, the Mothman, which is an alien, like you just mentioned, or extraterrestrial, whatever being of not of this world or whatever, they were trying to prevent catastrophes, but they couldn't communicate with us and they explain it in the movie.
Yeah, they were trying to stop things from happening.
Yeah, tragedies.
Yeah. And everybody's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and Richard Gere was the one that was, like, seeing the shit.
Yeah,
and, like, he couldn't stop any of the tragedies. They would happen, but he would always show up and be like, "Oh, you can't stop it." Like, it would just be like, "It's gonna happen," and they explain it. It's like they compared it to us trying to communicate with an ant.
Yeah.
Like, how would you communicate to an ant? Like, hey, I mean, we could just be like, "You want that ant to survive? You keep it."
Yep.
You just, you know.
Be like, "Oh, I stepped on you. Sorry."
Yeah. Well, that was the concept. Like, that's the difference between their intelligence and ours.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They're like God level type shit.
Yep. But here, going back to what, you know, one of the things that I'm thinking about with, like, aliens come here with good intentions.
Okay.
So they came here to be like, "Hey, look, we want to help you with this technology to better civilization.
Evolve.
Or to learn from our mistakes, because we needed to leave our planet because of these mistakes we made. So now we want you to learn because you're the closest in relation to us as a civilization."
Yeah.
But then the people who run, you know, our countries, our country leaders, use that.
Poop in the group.
No. They use that as a ploy for control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, look at how easy the world shut down because of a virus created in a lab.
Allegedly.
Yes. No, it was created in a lab.
I know, dude, but...
Don't say allegedly. It literally was created in a lab. But anyway, but to be able to do something like that in that short span of time, what would stop them from being like, yes,
We're
UFOs
taking
and
over.
aliens exist. They plan on attacking. We need control of and they attack each individual people through data-driven, internet-driven things. We need control.
Yeah.
We need to control over this. We need control over that. You need to give up control of your own life because we need to be here ready for this attack. That would never happen. Or that, that never happens because that's not what the objective of those extraterrestrials were. Like they can manipulate that in any way they want.
I think it's one of those things that time will tell.
Well, yeah.
Because like I said,
We won't know unless we met one.
true.
One fucking comes down and
I
is
met
just
some-
like, hey, don't listen to what's going on, dude. Like, we're here to help you. But these guys don't want us to help you. Or the other way,
governments of the world.
yeah, or like, no, we're here to kill all you. Just so you know, like, we like the taste of human.
Yeah.
And we want to eat all of you.
Dude, that'd be fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's like I said, it's one of those things that it's like time will tell. If they do walk among us, which I think they probably do. I'm not sure.
I could see it,
But-
I could see it being a possibility.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like I said, it's one of those things that like they could be here to observe and report, like how advanced are we, how much of a resistance we would put up.
Yeah.
Or they could be like, you're not ready to know because your mind would collapse and you'd fucking freak out.
Yeah.
And because I mean, what do you think would happen if they like, yep, aliens exist? Do you think religion would crumble? Probably not overnight.
Well, I mean, no, I don't think it would crumble because it's not like, all right, what's to say that those other worlds
Don't have their own religion.
but like they were all created separately. Like we have our God and they have their God. Or what if it's all the same fucking God and he just created different places because he was learning how to, perfect his craft.
But what I'm saying is our religion. Well, I want to say our religion because I'm assuming you're Catholic, which I should.
Well, I'm
assume.
Christian, so
Pretty
I
close.
believe that there was a God. Yes.
Right. So it's very similar to Catholic.
Yes, it's the same thing. Just
They're very
you're not on your
parallel.
knees and you don't feel miserable after church. That's the difference. Is that you don't feel bad for being born.
There's few disparities, but mostly they fall in line together.
Yes.
And they tell you that God created us and that's it
Yes, God created us in
His image.
In His image. But there's nothing that ever said that, this is Earth 4.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says that
Yeah.
maybe we were created in His image the first time, but shit fell apart.
Yeah.
And He needed to fix it. And then it happened again, and then people fucking blew up. They're walking around and oh shit. Okay.
And then there was the
And then
third iteration, the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Like, hey, let's put other things here first to see how this world will turn out and then maybe go from there. I don't think we can take that out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
And then maybe he or God, they don't want to assume it was a he.
He, him, she, her.
That
they, them.
that a place was created and it was thriving. And he's like, all right, let's see how far this one goes. I'm going to try this other one out too.
You're going a little bit supernatural, God.
Well, but I'm just saying, you never know.
Yeah.
Just like, there's so many different things that go, like, you can go so many different ways
Right,
with extraterrestrials and incorporating religion. I mean, because then you can go into even like,
Well, but I don't want to go into the whole religion and God thing, but there's been different iterations of gods throughout millennia.
But I'm talking about even to be able to connect them with the possibility that God created other places.
Yeah, but look, if you look at it this way, like you go back,
like here,
and you look at like the old civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is on topic with the alien stuff because you look at the pyramids,
Uh-huh.
right? Who built the pyramids? They're
See now that there's a couple things that I think about with that.
Okay, but if you really think about it, so let me just get this out there. You got the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
Who built them? Oh, they're like, well, no, it was slave labor, right? That's the story. But you so that's the story.
Yes.
But everybody's like, that's bullshit, dude. They're carrying tons.
Well, and the cuts were so precise,
right?
And they lined up so perfectly.
And then they brought them up to the top of the pyramid. So you think about that, you're like, oh, was another alien civilization involved in that? Because, then you go back, like, everybody questions the Egyptian pyramids, but not the Mexican pyramids.
Well, here's another thing.
They're like, those were built by Mexicans.
Well, the crazy thing, dude, is that there's
pyramids in the Arctic.
Well, no, there's pyramids all along. There's a certain degree, or was it latitude or longitude, whatever it was, all along a certain area that goes from like Japan, Egypt, another place in Africa, then Mexico. No, but it's like a whole area where they're all like a line,
like
where they're at
near the equator line kind of deal. Yeah, but there's even like I don't know if it's true, but there's skepticism about there being like pyramids in Antarctica, which we will know. Like, oh, I'm not going to fucking Antarctica to find out. It'd be cool to go out there, but then I saw The Thing, and I was like, hell no. Don't want to be assimilated by some alien douchebag.
Yeah. So I mean, all right. So you got like, let me try to find it, because I was listening to another conspiracy theory podcast where they were talking about how all these pyramids were all like, yeah, here we go. So, here, I'm going to turn if you could see it.
Yeah.
Like, look at the way that these pyramids are all connected.
I can't see shit. Let me stand up. Oh, yeah. Like I said, they're kind of like on the equator fault.
Yeah. So they're all in the same latitude.
Yeah.
And they all are. And the crazy thing is that they all have similarities.
And they're all temples of worship.
Yes, but they're all from like different
ages,
different
eras.
ages, different cultures, different completely.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder, like.
Okay, so what I was getting to with that is like you get the pyramids, and Egyptians, they had different gods than the Christian or Catholic god that we have now. And then you got was it after or before the Greek gods?
Mm-hmm.
And then came upon the Romans with the were they Catholic and all that shit?
Well, yeah, so Roman, now we're going into something completely different, dude. Rome was at the time when it was polytheists and monotheists.
Yeah.
And that's when it stopped, because the Roman emperor at the time, who was it? Constantine. Constantine was the one who knew that Christianity was on the rise. So when he was on his deathbed, he got baptized as a Christian and put Christianity as the main religion of Rome.
Right. So to circle back to the extraterrestrials, is at different points you had different types of gods who were like, they might have been aliens and they were just like, oh, these are gods. Because I mean, you got the the crayon type drawings on the cave walls and shit.
Yeah.
And you got the glyphs and pyramids, and it happened in Mexico, it happened in Egypt, and probably in those other pyramids.
It's in Asia.
Yeah.
It's in China. You even got pyramids and stuff down in South America too.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, could these have been,
extraterrestrials?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
In the way that the Aztecs used them, it was for, praying to the sun god.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, before Christianity and Catholicism took over, those were like, oh, we have these gods, and they were probably extraterrestrials.
Yep, I could see that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get out. But we dove a little bit into religion, which that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other conspiracy theory itself, I guess you could say.
I could tell you some shit that I'm not going to dive into that.
All right, so since we're talking about aliens and Area 51 and everything, we have to talk about Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us.
With our Naruto run.
Which was a Facebook event that took place on September 20th, 2019.
I remember that.
Yeah, so do I, dude.
It had like 2 million followers on Facebook.
I'm going to get to that because this is funny.
Yeah.
So it was in the desert surrounding Area 51. So the event was created by this Maddie Roberts.
Yes.
And asked Facebook users to band together and raid the site in search of extraterrestrial life that conspiracy lore claims to have maybe concealed inside. Yeah, 2 million people responded that they were going, and 1.5 million people were interested on the events page. And it subsequently attracted widespread media attention and caused to be an event to become an internet meme.
Mm-hmm.
Then this dude later stated his intentions for the event was purely comedic and disavowed responsibility of any casualties that had been there or attempted actual raids on the military base.
Well, yeah, but the first couple dudes were gonna get shot.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter what your intention is. You try to walk into a military base and you're not authorized to be there.
You're gonna get shot.
There's signs that say we shoot on sight.
Do you think you could party right like on the line of the fence still outside?
Well, they started to. They started just hanging out like on the line. Yeah. I mean, but the best part about it, dude, is that only 150 people showed up. Like 150 people showed up at the two entrances to Area 51.
That is pretty.
And none of them entered the site.
Yeah.
And then 2 musical festivals were planned to coincide with the event.
Mm-hmm.
One called Alien Stock in Rachel, Nevada, and Storm Area 51 Base Camp in Hyco, Nevada, which 150 or 1,500 people attended those festivals, and nobody went to the fucking base. But Nevada law enforcement was there, and they told people, get the fuck out, or you could be shot on sight because you're basically committing treason by trying to rebel by storming a military base. Like, yeah, you're trying to take over a facility. Yeah, they have every right to shoot you.
Nobody got shot when they stormed Capitol Hill, though.
Well, you're talking about something else, dude. That you're talking about another conspiracy theory that could just go down. Because there's parts.
I'm just saying.
There's
they
parts.
Stormed Capitol Hill.
Okay, but there was
nobody
parts.
Got shot.
There was parts of that where nothing was going on.
Yeah.
Only one section. There was a tour going on. One guy was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go on a tour?" A security guard was giving fucking tours to the people who stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, that shit's a joke.
True.
The what's going on and what's in charge right now is a fucking joke. But we won't get into that because that has nothing to do with, well, it could have something to do with aliens, but let's see. What else we got here? Yeah, dude, I love the best way to dodge the bullet fire would be to do the Naruto run. Because they won't be able to stop. They won't be able to shoot you. They'll move faster than the bullets.
I hate that they call it the Naruto run because that run's existed way before Naruto. That displeases me.
Oh, man.
I know it's a petty thing, but I had to get it out there.
Well, let's just say the only thing that was, I guess, constructive about this potential try to storm Area 51 is that the businesses in the 2 towns that were there got some business.
Did they? Because there was a whole thing about they might have ruined that town because they prepared for 20,000 people, and then those 20,000 people didn't show up. What was it, like 300 total? Then I guess showed up.
Well, no, 150 people showed up for the storm, the event. No, 150 people showed up at Area 51.
Yeah, okay.
But 1,500 people showed up to these 2 festivals. So at least, something came out of that.
I guess.
And this raid, quote-unquote raid, lasted 96 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. 150 people at the main event, 1,500 people at the festivals. 2 people, there was a rollover crash where 2 people died and 7 people got arrested. So that's a little bit about Area 51 and the raid on Area 51. How about you talk a little bit about some UFO encounters?
How about
or just...
Yeah, we could describe what the kind of encounters are. So there's Hynek scale, that kind of breaks down what the encounters are kind of like. So this is off of Wikipedia, so grain of salt, big grain of salt.
Yes.
But,
Public platform where you can edit and create whatever you want.
Yeah. So it says Hynek devised a six-fold classification for UFO sightings. They are arranged according to the increasing proximity. First, you got nocturnal lights, which is lights in the sky, in the night sky, I should say, because it's dark out. Which means, you go out there at night, you see some weird lights in the sky. People have identified that or related that to UFOs.
Yes.
You got daylight discs, which are probably a little bit more famous. UFOs seen in daytime, generally having discoidal or oval shapes. So those are the flying saucers that have been recorded or whatever. You got radar visual UFO reports that have been confirmed on radar. These supposedly tried to offer harder evidence that the objects are real, although radar propagation can be occasionally discredited due to atmospheric propagation anomalies. Yeah, right. Yeah, you've seen it in the movies, man. We got a blip on our radar. And
and now it's gone.
Yep, it's gone.
All they did was unplug it.
Have you turned it off and on again? So next you got the close encounters, which is a CE1. Close encounters of the first kind are visual sightings of an unidentified flying object, seemingly less than 500 feet, 150 meters away, that show an appreciable angular extension and considerable detail. So this is, I'm guessing people actually see these things like in real time. That's a encounter of the first kind. Close encounters of the second kind, CE2, a UFO event which a physical effect is alleged. This can be interference in a malfunctioning of a vehicle or electronic device, animals reacting, physiological effects such as paralysis or heat and discomfort in the witness. So whoever sees it is probably going to feel some heat or some weird shit's going on. Or some physical trace like an impression on the ground, scorched or otherwise affected vegetation, or a chemical trace. So much like the movie Signs, where they
the crop circles,
right?
Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
those would be encounters of the second kind. Cars dying, stuff like that. Close encounters of the third kind is a UFO encounter in which an animated entity is present. These include humanoids, robots, or a human who seems to be occupants or pilots of a UFO. So this is a close encounter type shit.
Yep, that's your little green men, your lizard people, and
right.
Those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much stock I put into it, but like I've had friends tell me that they lose time on more than one occasion, and it's been multiple friends, not just one guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like they've never told me like, oh, I was on a slab and there was these little gray men around me. Nothing like that, but they're just like I was driving home or whatever on a dark country road and it's 9:45 at night and then all of a sudden it's 11:45 at night. 2 hours pass and they're like still on that same piece of highway or whatever. Things like that. I have heard those stories firsthand. So those are the Hynek scale. Afterwards, there was extensions of the Hynek scale, which are the fourth kind, the close encounters of the fourth kind, which is a UFO event in which a human is abducted by a UFO or its occupants. And this type was not included in the Hynek scale original close encounter scale because it's probably before, some stuff was disclosed or people came out and said. They probably didn't want to come out and say like, hey man, I got probed. So there's that. We go also into a fifth kind.
Well, I do have to say, so there was one specific alien abduction I do want to touch in on that kind of involves like the
fourth
close encounter the scale.
Uh-huh.
So once we get through all of them, I do want to read about it because it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, so really quick on the fourth kind, there is the fourth kind should refer to cases when the witness experienced a transformation of their sense of reality. So that's when you got those stories where people are like, yeah, man, I was on the slab and I got probed. Kind of like that dude from, what's that movie? Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, man, they probed me. And then you got close encounters of the fifth kind, which I was getting to. Close encounter of the fifth kind refers to a human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial life forms or advanced interstellar civilizations claiming direct communication between aliens and humans. Close encounters of the fifth kind was first coined by Stephen M. Greer. In a close encounter of the fifth kind, individuals or groups use specific protocols to establish communication or interaction with extraterrestrial beings. These protocols primarily involve the use of contact meditation or use of sounds or signals. Because I mean, we probably don't speak the same language.
No, probably not. And I don't know if they have, translators yet. To just stick on you and be like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Well, I mean, not to get off topic, but there is if they are that advanced, they might have like a psychic imprint where they could tell you.
Well, they just talk to us in our mind, in our language.
Not necessarily in your language, but they put images that are not threatening if they're not threatening, or, you see images of, the world burning if they're trying to kill us.
True.
That would be, I'm guessing that would be a way to communicate.
I guess so. It would be a weird way of communication,
But yeah, so the fifth encounters are the types where you sit down and have coffee with an alien, I guess. Or, a beer. In our case.
Well, we would have a beer with them. Like, hey, what you want to drink?
And they'd be like, we came to kill you, but now.
Yeah, now that we're drunk, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the one that, once you talk about these different levels of close encounters, it's Benny and Barty Hill. Or Benny, I can't say it right. Barney and Betty Hill. They claimed they were abducted by extraterrestrials.
Both of them?
At the same time.
Okay.
In a rural portion of New Hampshire back in 1961. And then it's coined as being the Hill abduction and the Zeta Reticuli incident. So it goes back to that Zeta Reticuli system. So a little backstory on it. They lived in New Hampshire. Mr. Hill was employed by the Postal Service, and his wife was a social worker. Yes. They were.
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to laugh, but I'm just saying those job titles are already pretty wacky.
Yes. So, basically, the encounter, I guess the UFO sighting happened around 10:30 at night on September 19th of 1961. They were driving from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, from a vacation in Niagara Falls in Montreal. And they were just south of Lancaster, New Hampshire. So I don't really know the difference. I'm not a New Englander. Betty, she claimed to have observed a bright point of light in the sky that moved from below the moon and the planet Jupiter upward to the west of the moon. While Barney navigated on U.S. Route 3, she realized that she was observing a falling star, only it moved upward.
Wait, so they weren't together?
Yeah, they were driving. They were driving home.
But each one separately in their own car?
No.
Oh, they were in there.
Yeah, he was driving. She was in the passenger seat.
Okay.
And she's just looking up at the moon, and she sees a star fall down and then shoot back up. So she's like, oh, that's weird. And then because the way that this star moved and it got bigger and brighter, she told Barney to stop the car, and so they could take a better look at it.
Yeah.
But then they had a dog with them too, but that's neither here nor there. So then Barney stopped.
Hold on, I'm interested in the dog.
Well, just hang on. So then Barney stopped at this picnic area to get out and walk the dog or whatever. And then I guess back in the 60s, everybody had binoculars in their car for some reason. So Betty took out a pair of binoculars that they had in their car and just kept on watching this like odd-shaped craft with multicolor lights move across the face of the moon, so back and forth across the moon.
Yeah.
So then she was like, "Oh shit, Barney, you need to look at this." And then Barney observed it. He thought it was an actual like a plane just flying by.
Yeah.
And then he changed his mind as he turned and saw like the craft like come towards him. So it was like the plane. He thought it was a plane, but then it turned and it looked like it was landing on him, and he realized that, oh, this thing is not a plane.
Yeah.
So then they decided to like, oh shit, let's get in our car because this plane is now coming towards us.
Oh, they got out of the car.
Yeah, so they got out of the car to walk the dog.
Yeah.
Then they got back in the car and they continued driving. And they're driving and driving and driving, and then they like.
So, curious. It probably doesn't disclaim it on there, but was the dog getting rowdy?
No, it does. It doesn't say that.
Because it's one of the things that would happen.
Yeah, but as they keep saying that like they're driving down this road, and then like they're still down the road, and then this object rapidly descended towards their vehicle, causing Barney to just stop the vehicle in the middle of the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And then this huge silent craft hovered above their car, and then like it just took over their car. And then it said it reminded Barney of huge pancakes. And Barney had his pistol, so he gets out of the car and he steps away from the vehicle, moving closer to this flying object with his pistol in hand. And using the binoculars, he was able to see 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were peering out of the craft's windows, seemingly to look at him. And then in unison, all but one figure moved to what appeared to be a panel on the rear wall of the hallway that encircled the front portion of the craft. The one remaining figure continued to look at Barney and communicated a message telling him to stay where you are and keep looking. Barney had a recollection of observing the humanoid forms wearing glossy black uniforms and black caps. Red lights on what appeared to be bat-wing fins began to telescope out of the sides of the aircraft, and a long structure descended from the bottom of the craft. The silent craft approached to what Benny estimated was 50 to 80 feet overhead and about 300 feet away from him. And then it's just weird. He just says he was with something that was not human. And then there's a whole bunch more, like, they thought, like, the drive that they went on wasn't supposed to be, like, as long as it took.
So they lost time.
And they lost time. And then they keep on saying, like, these humanoid things, like, were from the Zeta Reticuli system. And, like, they were here. Like, and then they have crazy dreams. Like, it is pretty crazy stuff.
You gotta think about it, though. How much of that stuff makes sense and how much of it doesn't?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to discredit them, but
well, they ended up. So
I have questions.
Well, yeah, and then they ended up even going to a hypnotist and being hypnotized to kind of relive the experience.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy stuff, dude. Like, you really got to look at it. Like, it was almost like far-fetched. But I mean, we're talking about far-fetched stuff. Yes. Like far-fetched, but then at the same time, it's like they were so spot on with their stories.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, all right, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So their stories lined up if they interviewed them separately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know, man. It's like, if you hear those stories, how much stock can you put into it? You know? I mean, until you live it, can you really say, like, hey, I know what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everybody tells their story, or everybody who's lived it, you know, tells their story about, like, oh, you know, I had a UFO encounter. They tell the same story. So some stuff does line up. Some of it's pretty out there.
Yeah.
There's the crop circles. There's, you know, basically an EMP where, you know, all electronic devices just die.
Mm-hmm.
And the bright light, the little white men, the saucers. Some of them have different stuff. Some of them are pretty much the same. And I mean, when you kind of add that extra, and then you tell me the dog wasn't reacting, that's where my questions are like,
Well, here, let me look up about the dog of the incident. If the dog acted weird, it doesn't say anything about the dog.
I don't think they delved that. They dug into that.
Probably not.
But that's one of the questions that I don't want to say trigger me, but it would be like, that raises a flag, because it says one of the things is animals will react because it's an unknown to them. It's a weird thing, or it's not even that. It's just like a strange thing is happening, or a stranger is approaching. They would freak the fuck out.
All right, so according to Barney, Delcy was under the seat in a tight ball, and Betty remembered Delcy being on the passenger seat, trembling all over. She recalled holding Delcy on her lap as they watched the UFO fly by. In shock, they continued their drive home. Still not fully comprehending what happened, when they arrived home, Betty walked Delcy, and they prepared for bed. So then, shortly after the UFO encounter, Delcy developed an epidermal fungus infection as well as respiratory problems, which she was treated for by a veterinarian. However, they thought little of this illness because they had recently adopted Delcy 6 weeks prior to that fateful night and did not have her full medical history. Therefore, there was a few more weeks before Betty realized that the dog had never been bathed after the incident. She also realized that Delcy's personality had somewhat changed and that she would now whimper, shake, and move her legs when sleeping. Again, though, this is a common behavior in dogs, so not much was thought.
Maybe the dog had PTSD, man, from the event.
Could be, But I mean, who knows what happened, dude? Who knows if they weren't just like tripping out, or they were sleep deprived and had a really weird lucid dream, or anything else, or they really got abducted and they were telling the whole truth, and everybody's like, "Nah, you're full of shit."
So I'm telling you, man. Like I know dudes who have told me. They didn't tell me the whole bright lights thing and story, but I know dudes personally who have lost time.
Yeah.
And I think one of them was they were climbing a mountain. They were going on a hike basically.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, dude, we were up there, and then all of a sudden it was 2 hours later, and we're like, what the fuck? We need to get back because it's gonna get dark soon." But then again, it could be one of those time flies when you're having fun things.
Well, yeah, that happens a lot, dude. Where you're hanging out and it's just like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Or did you ever have those moments when you're getting ready to go to sleep, and you're like, oh god, I can't wait to go to bed, and then you close your eyes and you open them and it's daytime already.
Yeah.
I always hated that when that would happen. I'd be like, okay, time to go to bed, and I'm like, oh shit, it's time for me to get up. When the fuck did I sleep?
Yeah.
Because I literally felt like.
Well, that's just because your brain didn't rest.
Well, yeah. But it's crazy how that, it just seems like the snap of a finger and the fucking sun's up already, you know?
I don't know, man. I think it's, we're living in some crazy times where a lot of information is coming to light. And that could debunk old stories or old footage or whatever people have said. But it could also confirm what some people have told.
Yep. So without bringing religion or any of the other things we're bringing into, what is your take on it as far as aliens existing and everything else of that nature?
Oh, for sure. There's aliens out there. They might not be here. They may be here. But there's definitely a civilization out there somewhere in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
There could be one very similar to us. There could be one that's completely different. There could be... there could be civilization. This has been a topic that I've touched on previously, with a buddy or whatever, just talking to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where you think we might be the aliens that reach another planet to develop civilization. So we might get to that point, I don't know, couple hundred years from now, where we're able to accomplish interstellar travel, and
Yeah.
we'll be the ones showing up to a planet where they're like barely in the ages,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Hey, help us build pyramids."
Well, see, like, and that's even another theory of, like, the whole Zeta Reticuli, like, I guess you could say, like, conspiracy type thing,
Yeah.
is that those people that are inhabitants of Zeta Reticuli are humans that left Earth and then learned time travel and came back to warn us of what's going on. So yeah, man, like, the one theory, like, I was trying to really get into is that the aliens that are now inhabiting the Zeta Reticuli system are actually humans from a previous civilization here,
Yeah.
and left because Earth was just, there was something wrong with Earth and they had to leave, or they were able to get to interstellar travel,
Okay.
and now they want to come back and tell us, like, hey, you know, you're doing something wrong, don't do the mistakes we had, or they're coming back to, like, take back Earth.
Dude, that just reminded me. I know we don't want to talk about movies, but the extinction,
Mm-hmm.
where the AI got so advanced that they thought they were humans.
Yep.
And the aliens come back, and it's actually the humans. It's kind of like that, dude.
It is like that,
But-
actually.
But the humans in that movie were actually like really, really advanced AI, droids or whatever.
Oh, they were advanced droids. Not
They
really,
were something.
not even humans.
They weren't human. Yeah, no, they weren't human.
Well, they suck for lying.
Well, their programming made them think. So when the attack or whatever happened, that whatever was going on, the extinction was actually like, and you see the aliens. They look like they're aliens because they're so advanced, the suits.
Yeah.
And then they get one and they take the helmet off and it's like a human. They were living on Mars or some shit. I don't remember. I saw it like a year ago.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, just getting back from talking about, you know, UFOs and other different kind of sightings. I mean, there's been sightings, I mean, oh my God, since, you know.
1450 before Christ.
Yes.
So we're talking about 3,500 years in the past, almost.
Basically.
Just about.
Yeah.
They go back to
Ancient Egypt. There you go.
Which is, you know, kind of the pyramid stuff.
That is the pyramid stuff. Ancient
Yeah.
Egypt. It's not kind of the pyramid stuff.
Hey man, you don't know exactly when that happened.
Well-
Give me a time and date, and I'll check. I'll fact check you.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, they go back as far as this is weird because this is a weird jump. So on this platform, it's recorded 1450 BC, and then there's a jump all the way to 218 BC. Ships in the Sky, which is in the Roman Republic.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird, though, because it's like...
That's 1,200 year jump.
But yeah, but just, you know, during the build-up to the Second Punic War,
Yeah.
in the sky, they saw phantom ships that had been seen gleaming in the sky. I mean, that could have just been... Like, it, depending on how high up it was, it could just be like reflections of ships in the water.
Yeah. Could be,
You know,
but,
or just
it's...
clouds that look like ships.
Right, but, I mean, we are talking about unidentified flying objects. So if it's a reflection in the sky, even if it's a reflection that's unidentified flying, you know, parentheses, object.
I mean, and then it does another jump from 28 BC to 76 BC.
Well, that's just the recorded ones.
Well,
we
yeah.
don't know what happened.
But still, the ones that were recorded are pretty far.
Yeah, but these are way back in the like Roman era. But they do have some.
I mean,
here's this one, 1740 after death in Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah. Airship of Clum.
Several sets of Irish annals. Those Ulster have entries to the effect that ships with their crews were seen in the air. And then this is a big jump, 1,000 years later almost. Celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg.
Yep. Residents of Nuremberg described An aerial battle, followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object, and then a crash outside of the city.
Yeah.
A broadsheet recorded that witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that moved erratically overhead. That's pretty cool.
That is.
I mean, that would freak the fuck out of somebody back in the 1500s. Like,
yeah, that's like the fucking Da Vinci time.
They're like, oh my god, fucking witchcraft and...
Oh, yeah. They're like, did you see it? You're getting burned at the stake.
You saw that? Oh, you had to be a witch.
Yep.
You're dead. Come here.
Yep.
I didn't see it. Yeah, you did. You're dead.
And then there's the... Okay, what
they
is
put
this?
all the people they didn't like. Like, you saw that, right? Yeah, dude, I saw that too. Yeah, all right. You're dead.
This dude looked at me weird. Ask him if he saw it.
Yep, I know. He had to have seen it because he's weird. And I just don't like him.
This is pretty... Oh, okay, so this was in Korea, 1609, in September 22nd. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a UFO in Goseong. I'm not going to butcher that name.
Wonju Ganjineng.
Ganjineng.
It just we'll just say a province in Korea.
Yes.
Yangyang County. There you go.
They described a halo or washbowl that was divided in two. And then from here, now we're moving into... That's
another 200 years before the next recorded incident.
Yeah, 1800s. Local fishermen reportedly found a closed vessel with a small window adrift. They said when they investigated that a beautiful young woman... Okay, that sounds like a siren. With red and white hair and dressed in strange clothes emerged, holding a square box that no one was allowed to touch, and that she spoke to them in a language they had never heard before. That's pretty crazy. 1883, New Mexico. No,
just Mexico.
Yeah, NA Mexico.
And then you go. I like this one. The
Aurora, Texas.
1897 in Aurora, Texas.
Yeah.
A local correspondent by the name of S.E. Hayden reported the crash of an airship piloted by an alien. According to Hayden, the spaceman was buried in a local cemetery, and residents of Aurora embraced the story without taking it seriously, which is pretty funny.
That is kind of.
But funny. The fact that they're still like living with it is pretty cool.
Yeah, they're like, well, we buried him though.
And then you go, 100 years.
No, not really. It's,
3. Yeah, no, okay, yeah.
It's like 10 years.
10 years.
No.
The crazy thing is just like it's all over.
It's all over the globe. You get this one's in
Albania.
Then you got New Zealand,
Portugal.
So let's get to some more current ones. So because this is
here actually, dude, the Foo Fighters.
1940 Foo Fighters over World War II theaters. During World War II, Allied fighter pilots above Europe reported colorful balls of light following their aircraft at high speeds.
That's pretty weird.
That is.
Battle of Los Angeles in 1942.
There's a movie about that.
Just months after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, U.S. radar stations picked up an unidentified aerial object in the early morning. For several hours, anti-aircraft artillery fired thousands of rounds into the searchlight-scored sky. The LA Times reported that the air over Los Angeles erupted like a volcano. That's pretty crazy, dude.
That is pretty crazy.
The fact that there was something there and they were just like, fuck it, we don't know what it is. Let's just keep shooting at it.
It's not very smart, though.
No.
But, okay, so next we got 1946, Scandinavia and other parts of Europe. Thousands of UFO sightings were reported over Europe, due in part to concerns that foreign governments were testing recovered experimental German technology. The Swedish and Greek governments investigated the report separately.
That's weird. That's weird that the Greeks were involved in that. Like, why does the Greeks have anything to do with Scandinavia?
Well, it was all over Europe.
Oh, I know, but it's just weird how they pick out those two specifically.
Yeah. No, it's probably like just to name a few. But that does line up with some of the like crazy shit that was going on in World War II.
Yeah.
They said the Nazis were dealing with some crazy shit.
Yes. This one, the Maury Island incident, this one is really weird, dude. Back in 1947, in the Puget Sound in Washington, Fred Chrisman, he was mailed an account for an employee, Harold Dahl, along with a cigar box of metal wreckage to Raymond A. Palmer, who had previously published the Shaver Mystery Stories. Dahl claimed that his dog was killed and his son was injured by debris in an encounter with 6 flying donut-shaped objects. He also reported that he was subsequently threatened by the Men in Black. And on July 31st, 1947, Palmer was arranged a meeting between Chisholm Dahl Air Force investigators and flying saucer witness Kenneth Arnold and Emil Smith. So with this one...
Is that the first mention of the Men in Black?
The one that I know of, yeah. But so they were fishing. They were on a fishing boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that it was like hot, it was like metallic lava came and just completely fucked up the boat and like cut his dog in half.
Ooh.
And like then it hardened and like fucked up his kid. And he reported this and everything else. And then the Men in Black met him and were like, hey, you need to stop talking about this shit like right now.
Damn.
And the Men in Black are described somewhat similar to like the Greys. So like the people from Zeta Reticuli, like
they're not not human.
They're human, but they're human human-like.
Yeah.
Like they have like a dry sense of humor. They have really stoic faces, and they're just like straight and to the point. But yeah, that one's crazy. It's actually a really crazy story.
Let's see what we got. 1947. This was
another one in Washington.
Yeah. Let's see what other.
You can do the Roswell incident right there.
Which one? There we go. Roswell incident. United States, about 30 miles north of Roswell, New Mexico. Walter Haut, a United States Army Air Forces spokesperson, issued a press release announcing the capture of a flying saucer. Hours later, the Army announced that the find was a crashed weather balloon. In 1978, the case regained attention after Jesse Marcel, the Army officer who recovered the wreckage, told UFO researchers that the weather balloon explanation was a cover story. In 1994, the Air Force attributed the incident to the previously classified Project Mogul.
Which one? Mogul?
Whatever.
Oh, Project Mogul.
Oh, that's a cool picture, dude.
Yeah.
Project Mogul. So Project Mogul was a top secret project by the U.S. Air Forces involving microphones flown on high altitude balloons whose primary purpose was long distance detection of sound waves generated by Soviet atomic bomb tests. The project was carried out from 1947 to early 1949. What else we got? The green fireballs. That one seems cool.
Let's see. Green fireballs in, again,
New Mexico.
The U.S. Air Force investigated reports of green flares streaking across the sky after an Air Force C-47 transport encountered a green ball of fire on 5th of December 1948. The pilot, Captain Godey, described the object as larger than a meteor and not arching downward as a meteor would. The Air Force investigation was inconclusive.
Okay, then we got Kentucky. Another New Mexico. Aztec, New Mexico UFO hoax. Okay, so this one says it follows the Roswell narrative, but Carmen Silas Newton and Leo Gebauer sold magnetic oil detecting machines based on the story that they had replicated technology from a crashed spaceship. The pair convicted of fraud in 1953. Elements of their story regarding the crash ship with occupants were later entangled with the Roswell narrative. Yeah. Then we get into the 1950s. Holy crap, there's a bunch of... Let's look at some more recent ones, 2000 ones. Holy crap.
There was an
Rebellion
alien. There was an alien on Twitter, and he posted on Instagram, and he was on my Snapchat.
This was at a school. Zimbabwe.
The aerial school UFO incident in Rua, Zimbabwe. Over 60 students reported seeing a silver craft land in a field near the school. They described the occupants dressed in all black that exited the silver object. And that's it? Like, what, they just walk into a fucking jungle in Zimbabwe? Like, oh, let's go hang out.
Hey, man, you don't know where they stop. Phoenix lights. Hundreds of people witnessed a series of lights in a V pattern moving through Arizona. The incident is unusual for the large number of photographs. Do they got photographs? No.
Maybe if you click on Phoenix Lights. Oh,
No.
never mind.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Tinley Park lights.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we
At
go.
8 p.m. on Halloween night 2004, residents were outside trick-or-treating on the streets of Tinley Park and other Chicago suburbs when thousands of people watched, photographed, and filmed a formation of red lights hanging in the October sky above them. Similar formations of lights drifted over the area the following autumn. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was.
And then, like, the Nimitz, go up to the Nimitz one. That's another good one.
Several pilots from VFA-41 squadron flying Supreme Hornets from the USS Nimitz were directed by the USS Princeton to intercept one of several unidentified flying objects detected by radar. The pilots reported a visual encounter and recorded an infrared video. The Navy has verified that the video was taken by Navy personnel and has stated that it has not yet identified the nature of the sightings, which they easily classify as unexplained aerial phenomena.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's another one at O'Hare.
Yeah, so that's close.
Yep. 2006 at O'Hare Airport here in Chicago. United Airlines employees and pilots reported sightings of a saucer-shaped, unlit craft hovering over Chicago Airport Terminal before appearing to leave with a rapid vertical rise.
It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. If you keep going down, there should be... I mean, if we go closer, even closer, like 20... Oh, that's where they end, 2023.
Yeah, 23. We're in 2023.
I know, I thought... No, but I felt like it skipped over a couple of years, because, I mean, there was one...
Oh, let's do these last two. The 2021, the pilot at an altitude of 37,000 feet reported seeing a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing, moving really fast, right over the top of them. According to published audio, American Airlines confirmed that the radio transmission came over Flight 2292. The FFA a few days later stated a pilot reported seeing an object over New Mexico shortly after noon local time on Sunday, February 21st, 2021. FFA air traffic controllers did not see any object in the area on their radar scopes. That's messed up.
Yep, and here's the last one, which would be, looks like January 28th and February 13th of 2023. List of high-flying altitude objects in 2023. We got the U.S., Canada, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Venezuela, with multiple airborne objects sometimes reported in mainstream media as UFOs were observed and sometimes shot down by military aircraft. Many of these objects were reported as meteorology or espionage balloons, which is kind of funny because that one fucking balloon went across the whole country and nobody shot it down.
The Chinese balloon that they were talking about?
The Chinese weather balloon.
Was that last year, right?
It was like a couple months ago, wasn't it?
No, it was last year. It was like late last year. Because I remember we were talking about it at work.
I don't know.
And I had just started there. So we were talking. Yeah, it was the Chinese balloon. And everybody's like, oh, we should send our balloon that looks like a missile.
Yeah, no. We don't need to.
We don't need to start that kind of heat.
No.
But yeah, that's a lot of sightings, dude, over 3,500 years.
Here, it was January 28th to February 4th of this year.
Oh, so it was
the balloon.
Early this year then.
Yeah.
That's probably why I thought it was late last year.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy how throughout time, you know, and it's weird if you go back up for a second, and we just kind of go based on like locations. So just go all the way up to the top.
To the 14,
to the BC one. So go back to BC. So you have Egypt is a technologically advanced civilization.
Yeah.
And they see that. Then you go to the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
The next advanced civilization. Then you go down, still in Rome, and then you go up to even this one in Ireland. At that time, I think it's still so Ireland is under Roman rule at that time, because the Roman Empire stretched all the way up there.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
So you have that. And then it still continues to here where it starts to fall.
Yeah.
And now you're going through like medieval times here. And then you got, I don't know what was really going on in Korea, but it's weird.
Crazy though. If you look at this gap, you go from BC, so you've missed out about 200, close to 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
So about 250 years, let's say, with nothing. And then you go from 740 AD, so that's after death.
Well, you got 2,000 years.
Yeah. Well, no, this is after death. So from here you go to
740 to 0 to 1561.
Yeah, it's close to 2,000 years with no activity.
Yeah, that was reported or documented or written down. But I feel like in that period of time, if you saw something in the sky that wasn't a bird, that you're like, oh shit, you're writing that down or telling somebody, and it's going to be out there.
Yeah.
And then you got and then from there, just the civilizations, except for the one in Asia, because I don't really know what was going on. But then you got these are dynasty eras where they're starting to build up.
Yeah.
And then now you have you have this is when these places were being conquered.
Well, don't say this. Say when.
No, but I'm talking but 1883. You have colonization of these areas where advanced civilizations are now going into these more I don't want to say nomadic, but less industrialized areas, and now things are starting to happen. This is just when 1896 the U.S. is really just becoming their own country.
US, yeah.
Baseball just started around that period of time, which is pretty crazy. And then here, this 1897, the West is being won.
Yeah, that's cowboys and aliens type shit.
And then you go to the 20th century. Now it's all over the place.
Yeah. After this, it's very well. Well, I don't want to say very well recorded, but it's more lively. Let's say.
Yeah.
The recordings are every couple years, and it's very sporadic all over the globe. I mean, it also catches up with technology and people talking about it probably too. Even before, this is 100 years before social media.
Mm-hmm.
Where people were like, I saw this, and people were like, you crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, dude. It's an interesting topic of extraterrestrials and UFOs and everything like that.
Yeah. It's pretty out there.
Yep.
I remember, even, every time when I was hanging out with buddies, we would always agree not to touch on 3 topics.
Okay.
Religion, politics, UFOs. Because there's always disagreement there.
Oh, yeah, there always will be.
Yeah. You got skeptics, you got believers.
And I feel like a lot of people don't want to believe or have the possibility in their mind because they don't want that fear. Yeah. They don't want to have that worry of oh man, what could possibly be out there, or is this bad? Is it good? What's their intentions?
Well, I think that's the people that would panic.
Oh yeah.
If shit went down,
and those are the people he would be able to control.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. The world, the world and outer space and everything is just insane, dude.
I just think you gotta. Well, my belief is you gotta be ready for anything, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I mean, to think that we're the only beings in the universe is pretty arrogant. Yes. So, will they reach us? Have they reached us? I don't know if they've reached us. They may be out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Exactly. But, I mean, more and more with the declassified documents and information getting out there, I mean, we might find out that they've been around since...
Who knows when?
Yeah, walking among us.
Yep.
It's just one of those things, man. You got anything else?
Well, I can tell you one thing, that I've never had any encounter myself.
No.
No, there was one time I thought I saw something going on in the sky.
Yeah.
When I was driving back from my folks' house back out this way, when they still lived in Summit.
Yeah.
And I remember driving and looking up in the sky, and there was like 4 lights that were just flying around, like back and forth across the sky with each other, kind of like, just kind of like a maneuver and
Like
stuff like that.
playing around kind of deal.
And then I was looking in the direction where it was at, and then I ended up looking at it online, and it was towards Peoria.
Mm-hmm.
And Peoria has an Air Force base.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked it up, and it was planes doing night maneuvers.
Mm.
But the way it looked, dude, it looked like just weird objects just flying around in the sky.
Yeah.
But then there was one night that there must have been some kind of exercise or something going over, like over Lake Michigan or something downtown. Because there was one, I remember driving. I was driving to my parents' house at night for some reason. I don't know why. But I remember seeing a light, like, say, like, if you're looking towards downtown.
Yeah.
It was on the left. And then it was like the plane went into, like, sonic boom.
Mm-hmm.
And just went, poof, and you just saw it just fly away. And it was just, like, gone that quick. I don't know if that was something. I doubt it. I don't know. But it could have been. But I never had any encounters where, like, I saw any weird object, like little green men or gray figures or anything like that.
Dude, the one I remember was when I first moved out here south.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was driving with Phil, who's a friend of ours, and this is way before, like, it got populated down here. So there was cornfields all
Still
over
like
the
dirt
place.
roads and stuff.
Yeah. Well, not dirt roads, but, like, it wasn't populated like it is now where you got, like, a lot of stores and booming business down here.
Yeah.
Ish. And this is crazy because this was, like, when Signs had just come out, the movie. So we're, like, freaked out. We're driving home from watching the movie, and we're around a bunch of cornfields. So we're like, oh, shit, man.
Children of the Corn.
That, too. But I looked up in the sky, and I don't know if Phil remembers this, but we looked up at the sky,
mm-hmm.
and you got the moon on one side, and there was, like, a split, and you could see, like, and it could have been the clouds playing tricks,
Yeah.
But you see, like, so the moon's on one side, and it is cloudy out there, but you can see the moon clearly.
Yeah.
And then there was it was like a split. It wasn't a straight line. It looked like the clouds were covering something behind, but like an orange light was coming out from behind and reflecting on other clouds, which was pretty. We're like, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
I mean, you can see it in the sky. It wasn't like it's a little thing. No, it was like a huge thing in the sky. So you seeing it out there, and you're like, well, it's not the moon reflecting, and it's like hiding behind one cloud and behind another. Because I mean, for you to get clouds all the way out to the moon,
yeah,
But I was like, dude, that's pretty crazy. It's like the sky's like split, and you could see like, it's like if you're shining a light and putting like a paper in front of it,
mm-hmm.
but you can still see the light reflect.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy. I think that's probably one of the closest I've had, other than, I mean, other stuff I relate more to, like ghost stories or like supernatural things.
Yeah, like I never felt
alien things.
Yeah, I never felt like I don't know. I never felt an alien presence, or like I never saw like the light come down and machines acting all weird, or
right. Like it's like
I have had lost time, but I never attributed it to anything other than I just got caught up in the moment. I'm like, oh man, where did those 2 hours go?
But even if you think about it, like I've had I could say you could say I've had those moments, but I'm like, I think back and I'm like, okay, that's where this time went.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a blank or a complete blackout.
No,
and if it's happened, it's because I was drunk, and I'm like, I start to fill in gaps, and I'm like, okay, and this person was there, and they told me I did this, sort of thing.
Yep,
a brownout, if you will.
Yes,
but not a complete like, holy shit, like like a split second and it's 2 hours later, and I've never had that.
No.
But I know dudes who have, and they swear to their grandmother's grave or whatnot that they're like, dude, this happened, I swear to God. And I'm just like, I believe you, dude. I'm not saying I don't, but it's pretty out there.
Yeah.
Especially like the one I believe a lot was the dude that was like hiking, and he was with other people, and they're like, yeah, dude, we lost like 2 hours of time, and I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
Huh.
But me personally, no.
Yeah, no. And I never met anybody who ever had like an alien encounter either, except just like hearing stories. But like I never met anybody who was like, yeah, dude, it happened to me.
Like I got probed kind of story.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think they do it. What would they want with our ass?
They were just bored and they have some weird fetishes.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we have the cure for cancer, but let's just like fuck these people in the ass and just fuck with them.
Aliens are probably laughing right now, like we finally got them into anal. After a couple hundred years of probing them in their ass, they finally like it.
Or they're like, we will give you the cure for cancer, and they pull out this thing and everybody just bends over. And they're like, what are these people doing? We want to give them the cure. They have to drink it. They're just like, they're spreading their cheeks. Well, this is what they want.
Wrong hole, fool.
You're gonna get cancer from it this way.
Yeah.
This cures it through the mouth, through the butt. You get it.
Yeah. Can you imagine being the next guy's like, I know I need to drink it. No, I don't want that shit. It's been somebody's ass.
We clean it, or every probe is new. Like you get your own probe.
That's gnarly.
I don't know. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But it's all right. But yeah, so this is the end of episode 1 of our mini-series of conspiracy theories.
Yes.
The next one on deck will be...
What do we got on deck?
We'll do the JFK assassination. I think that'll be the next one. That sounds like a good one to do.
No?
So yeah, that'll be out...
what do you got on the list? Let's do a recap of what subjects we're going to talk about.
No, let's just release the one right after the other.
Okay.
Keep the ideas fresh because maybe we want to change our mind on one.
Okay.
But JFK is that's another conspiracy of conspiracies that keeps getting pushed back every time documents are about to be declassified.
And there's so many stories about that. So look, that's just like we're just giving a little preview of what's coming up. But I mean, you got the magic bullet, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yep.
And
all the other shooters.
And all they say that he wasn't Russian; he was American.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lee Harvey Oswald was American who defected and moved to Russia.
Right. So can you really say he was a Russian spy? Was he a double spy, triple spy? There's all that. Like we'll try to.
Or was he just a patsy from the get go?
Yeah. Was he just a patsy?
Yep.
We'll try to touch up on all that for the next episode, and yeah.
And everybody, thank you for listening to us, and
we hope you enjoyed this.
Yep, keep the listens coming. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're up and running on YouTube pretty good now.
Yep.
Still on Podbean, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. Samsung, a couple other ones that I can't remember Podchaser, something box. Wasn't there a box one? Someone with a box?
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. So just remembering, we're trying to get a video up and running for you guys soon. I don't know why you would want to look at us, but sure, we'll get it going.
We definitely have faces for radio, just so you guys know.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for listening, and we hope you guys enjoy this episode. Just as much as we enjoyed talking about aliens and stuff.
All right, guys, and we just want to say one more time, thank you for listening. Thank you for following. And without you guys, it would just be two dudes sitting around drinking beer, talking about everything you're hearing. So we'd rather get it out there for other people to listen to and maybe relate, and then they could sit around with their friends and talk shit about stuff while they're drinking.
We know you talk about aliens out there somewhere, so
yep.
Remember, the truth is out there.